Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US Tech Stocks. I just want to talk about tactical things first because we've got this situation where we've got this high here and the Nasdaq has made a new high here, but there's many stocks that haven't made new highs here that will have 5 waves moving up here. So if we just consider, we've been through this before, but we're just going to go through it again because we just got to kind of update it a little bit. So this top here is this top here, and then we have some markets that have made new tops above here, so that's what it is. And then the other one is that we have that top here and we've had a move down and some stocks haven't made a new high here. So this is what we're left with. So the idea is to basically herd all the stocks together. There'll be leaders and followers, of course, but we need to get a consensus on the wave count within reason. So we were looking at this top here, more so on the S&P really, but it's the same sort of thing really. So we're looking at it in two different ways. We could have this here as 3, 4, and 5 to make wave 1 here, and then we would have a larger ABC pattern here for this, right, as a wave 2, and then we would go up further at that point. The other one we had was that this move up here would be a smaller wave 1 and wave 2, pulling back, and then pushing up here for that. Now, this one here with the light blue one here was the primary count, but we're going to change it to this one here now. So a smaller pullback here and then a push up. And the reason for that is because what I was watching is that this particular move that was coming up here, I was wondering if the stocks would catch, if the followers would catch up to the leaders and take this top out here, but that's not going to be the case. So this one here will have to become wave 1 here and 2 here, and then 3, 4, and 5 up here, and then we have a larger correction. So this one here will be 1, 2 here, 3, 4, and 5 here, and then have this larger wave 2. So this will move up to this, whoopsie-daisy, up to this one here with wave 1 here and wave 2 here. So that's what we're playing for. So I'll need to make adjustments as we go through some of these stocks, but that's basically what we're going to sort of fold into until proven otherwise. So I have to move with the bias of the structures, and it's this one here that's really taking, having that 5 waves up here that's taking place here. So that means if we take a look at Apple, we'll look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And Apple may or may not make a new high here, So in this case, we're looking at this still to push higher here. So we're looking for this to move up here. Markets like to be sucked up to large numbers, but if there's a lot of sellers there, they'll hit that because the 5th wave is normally quite lower on volume, and the sellers can dominate that. But here we'll look for this wave 2 here in an ABC correction, and then push up for 3 and 4 and 5 here, and then have an A and a B and a C wave for a larger wave 2, and then move up at that point. Doesn't have to be as big as this, but you get the idea. So that's sort of where we're at with pretty much not all stocks, but I mean Tesla's completely different. There's some that I still need to sort of think how I can sort of mold them into this particular count, but this is the short takeaway of the current situation. So with Apple here, we'll go in and we looked at trading some of these stocks, short term to the upside on these. So I'll just check to see what charts have updated and what I haven't. So what I'll have to do here is that this wave 5 here will now become wave 1 over here, and this one's going to go. In fact, I'm just going to remove that here. So we'll have this will become a smaller wave 3 here in this instance, and a smaller wave 4 in this instance, and then wave 5 up here for wave 1, and then an ABC. So how far will we get up here? Well, we'll just see. We'll just count the structure as we go. So from 1,000 ticks going into 100 ticks in here to have a closer look at this, we were looking at last time we spoke, we were looking at looking for a low here for this. We certainly don't need that one over there. We're all looking for an A and a B and a C. So I'll just need to reduce those to another degree smaller. We talked about being long on the level here. So that's all pretty much simple and going to plan. And yeah, so we should see this market continue to work to the upside through these levels here. I won't add to this trade. We'll just, because well, we'll see how we go. But this will end up being wave one up here, of course. So we'll change that. But we'll just stay with this. Once group 3 up here, the top of 193 becomes a tested support, we'll lift this up a little bit higher. Or even if the 92 becomes the tested support, we'll lift this up a little bit higher. I just got to make sure this is, I just got to make sure this is not wave one over here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a pullback in here to, 50-60% pullback, which is probably the case. So I've got to keep the stop out of the way for the time being, okay? So anyway, that's Apple, and that's the general count of things. So with Amazon here, we're also looking to go along here, I believe, and instead of looking for this wave 5 here of 1 here, we're just going to have to look at this as wave 1 here and then come back for a wave 2. So we should get a classic trading levels pattern across this 150, so that doesn't really change much at this point. So we'll just go from 1000 ticks to 100 ticks in here. We had actually a couple of entries in here, but I put the stop here. We've got a really nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So this impulse wave after a corrective wave will give us another impulse wave. So that's all going quite well. And the other interesting point here too is that we've got 145, which is the midpoint, and then we're now moving into minor group 2, so 65, 72, and 80. And you can really see now that it's really developed as support here. So once the 72 has got support, we'll be able to bring this up under this particular low here for this. But we won't do that just yet. We'll just sit tight. But all in all, a perfect entry for buying off the low. And we're going to have an exit at 150 here, even though we'll probably be looking to go higher. So, so it's just a really short-term trade, all of this. We'll probably end up at 52 or 3 or something, but there's going to be a lot of large orders that come in at this 150, and don't have to take it at 150. It's always nice to come in a little bit earlier because the bids will start building up at that particular point. So anyway, Amazon's looking good. And so NVIDIA here, we were looking at it as wave 3 and wave 4 because that's how we're tying everything in, and it could still be the case in this in this instance. This is where the S&P and the Nasdaq and many other markets are, but there are some markets that, as I mentioned, this coming back to the Nasdaq here, hitting this top here. This is why we're going, because there's stocks like Meta, and Google's another one where they've dropped back quite deep here. So it's telling me that these stocks like Meta and Google are actually leading the way. There are others as well. So they've already topped and turned here in this first wave to the upside, and others are still need to climb up a little bit further here to finish off. So that's where that difference is. So then I get into a situation, well, should I call this 3 and 4, one smaller degree, and go up for 5? I don't think it's got enough time to get up here, and it's already moved past the 38.2% retracement level here. We were looking for that target point, and we're also looking for this gap here and rounding off to the largest number here. So NVIDIA here, it's quite possible that we've got wave 2 in. We're looking at wave 2, and we'll be looking at. I'll map this out a bit better in a minute, but it's quite, instead of going up for wave 1 over here, it's quite possible that we've got wave 1 in here already because of the large. This is really quite different from all of this trend here. Do you know what I mean? It's left the building, so to speak. So we were looking at it in terms of on 500 tick here. We're looking at it like this here as wave 3 here. We may have even been looking at it as wave 1. I can't remember, but yeah, and it got a bit sort of spiky in here and so on. But I was looking at this. So basically we can have it as wave 4 here, and make a new high. So we go straight up, make a new high, or we have a B wave and then a C wave down here. So this B wave here, when the Nasdaq, it's not that interesting, but you need to understand it. While the Nasdaq is pushing up, and some stocks are pushing up, making new highs, right? The stocks that have come down deeper here, yes, they will rally, but they may not make new highs above here. They'll just rally into a B wave here. So that's what we're sort of up against there. And just to take a closer look at that possibility, would look at this as wave 1 up here, and I've got this here as 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave and the fourth wave, and then a beautiful fifth wave down here. And the reason I like to have it as 5 waves forward is because wave 2's are well, I always like to look at them as simple 5-3-5 zigzag structures. So that's what I'm going to play out here. And in that case, we've got a nice impulse wave here. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, the B wave, and then the C wave over here at the 61.8% roughly, whatever. So yeah. Not that interested in trading this, but you certainly could. So if I was going to trade it, you know me, I'd always look for the closest, largest number. So over here, 470 would probably be nice. So support on that number would be nice. But we do have a nice little impulse wave here. So that's one box ticked. Now you just need to look for support. You may be able to get a better position, but I won't call it in because it's not much to be had there. And you'd only really want to trade it to the A wave. You don't want to get stuck in the B wave here for this either. So it's really just capturing the third wave and getting out. Okay, so that's that. And then we move into Meta. And we may need to do the same thing with Meta as well. So we won't be going 3, 4, 5. We could be, and I'll be keeping an eye on it. We've got a nice ABC down here already. But otherwise, we'll be looking at this as a wave 1 over here for this as well. And that would bring us into, just to bring that pattern here, just so you understand it a bit, would be like this here. So we would end up, still need, because see really here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I'd still need to get another one down here first, and then this, and then this. So we'll just see how that plays out. But this would be that count, you know, and this wave 5 obviously would be miles away. So that's where that is. So it's going from wave 4 up to 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up for this, you know. However, I'll just go to the 100 ticks here. That's not quite right, this one. Yeah, so this is just 100 ticks. So it does make a nice like A wave, B wave, and C wave down here. So I'll just see how it builds. This was our target area here. It has slipped through that. So if we end up getting, you know, I mean, obviously we can look at that as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If we get wave 5 here, then you'll get an ABC pattern here, and then you'll push up again at that point. So it can still be wave 3 and 4 here, but I would also need to limit that down into this wave 4 here and bring this up into this wave 3 here. So we could go long there, but we've got a few trades on, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, if you see it make a new high here, which it should do, because that's a little corrective pattern here. So yeah, just wait for the ABC back, and then you can look to move in over here for that, you know, wherever that B wave is, you know. Okay, so we come over to Netflix as well, and we're also looking for wave 4 here, and I'll just see if it's got enough time to get up here. But if it gets up here, then we'll also have to remove these wave 1s and put this wave 1. So basically the thing here is we've either got wave 1 coming up here, or we'll have to put wave 1 over here. It's as simple as that, but it's not a really good look and feel at the moment for that. So I just want to stay with this one a moment. This one's it's got the same pattern as the rest of most of the other market, coming up and rolling over, but the previous pattern is a little bit different, so it kind of puts it in a different category, but it's tuning in with the rest of them. So I'll just see. But either way, from this top point here, we've got 5 waves down here, so we've got 1 and 2, and we've got 1, 2. So we're going to get we may get a bounce off the open, but we may get a bounce up. But if we do, it'll be short-lived. We still need to come down here further. Okay, so there's still more downside to be had here. I'm not interested in trading this one just yet. Yeah, so we this is interesting because the 38.2% retracement levels down here. If we look at this in terms of as wave 1, 2, 3, 4, I mean, it looks quite good to me. Do you know what I mean? So I'll just play that out a little bit and just see. I'm mindful of both counts, but whichever way we look at it, we don't have a trade here just yet. So I'm just going to chill on that. And over to Microsoft. So with Microsoft here, we're going to, we're looking at this as before. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for a third wave and coming back for a fourth wave at 38.2, the 362 area there. And that's still sort of possible. Otherwise, we'll have to look at it as wave 1 to the upside with an A and a B and a C. So I'll just see how this goes as well. I'll just see if we can get up here first. I won't call in a trade here. We're not in a good position, but and you can see here on the stochastics, I got the stochastics running pretty quickly on here on 3 and 6, but yeah, it should push up a bit, but yeah, I'll just see. There's different ways to look at that. Let me just go into the 100 area here. It's just I've got 1 and 3 up here. So, but the point being here is that just doesn't look completed to the downside. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then the overlap here is a bit sort of weird, and this looks like a third wave. So as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4, but the wave 4 is getting a bit high here as well. So I'll just see. I was thinking that we would get something like this, as a B and then a C down here again, but there's not enough boxes ticked for me to give you any confidence on this at the moment. Whatever this is, it's just not finished. Okay, so we can't touch it. If the 380 becomes support, well, then we can look for a long trade. But in the meantime, we'll just need to chill on that as well. We come over to to Tesla, and we've got really quite a nice off this low here. We've got a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here. It does look like a little 5-wave structure here, so I'm thinking that we'll get some sort of little ABC pattern here, and then a C wave, and then we'll get 5 waves up here, and then we'll have a larger correction. So when the the Nasdaq and all that top out, then this will top out. This could, I've got it at 280, could go up to 300 because markets like to be pulled up to large numbers. We can look for a long trade here, but not just yet, because this little move here, even though I don't have it labeled, looks quite looks impulsive here, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then there'll be this one here. I'm not too sure about this one, but how we configure that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. An A and a B and a C maybe. Anyway, a little bit rough and ready here, but still does leave me with 5 waves. So yeah, but we'll push up here higher, but it's not quite the position that we want. I mean, the only other factor with this here, unless I could look at it as some sort, this is a B wave here, but yeah, it's still too big and ugly and so on. So we're just going to wait on that. Yeah, so anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.